Hello and welcome to Sports by Compion. My name, of course, is your host, Stephen Compion, back with more Pick'em episodes. And for these things, we bring on our rugby expert when we need to know what's going on in the rugby world. We bring this man on because he knows some of it, some stuff about it. That's right, George McHattie is back in the house. George, how the hell are you?
Good, mate. Good. Just hit a mean gym session this morning, feeling refreshed for the evening.
Hell
I'm,
yeah.
I'm tired as shit, but we ain't gonna
Yours.
quit, you know? Um,
I love to hear it, George. We love to hear it. Gym days are essential for victory, people. That is absolutely correct. As you can see, we're both rocking our Hawaiians because we know this is very important rugby stuff. The premier tournament of the year, the one that everyone looks forward to. Six Nations is upon us, Georgie. That's right. And for these things, France will be kicking off against Wales. The Welsh are traveling down to France to take on the favorites of this year tournament. Our boy Georgie, myself, will be making our picks. Sports by Compion fans will be letting you know what we know about these teams and who we think will be winning. So to kick these things off, we're going to go right into that game that we just spoke about, the France versus Wales, a classic, if you will, George. As our friend Corey Compion would like to put it, UK and Friends tournament is officially on the way tomorrow. Exciting
dude,
times.
France is on fire, man. They've got Intermac back. They've got DuPont. I think France is going to put 50. I'll say 50 to 19, France.
It's going to be a tough one for the Welsh to stand against. The Welsh are reeling, if you will. A lot of their older boys have started to retire. Their captain, Mr. Morgan himself, has been man of the match in about four of his last fixtures, stealing that right from Scottish Rugby. But that's pretty much one of their only shining points in their team. As you mentioned, George, the French team is just absolutely stacked with superstars, stacked with players who play high level club rugby, and now they bring their talents to the Six Nations.
Yeah, well, France has the highest level club rugby in the world. So they've always got that upper foot. The issue with French rugby is it's based around flair, flamboyancy. You know, if you know any froggies, they're always the most flamboyant people in the room. And that is usually their Achilles heel is they start arguing. They're like the Ravens, man. We love to argue, we love to bicker, and it sometimes is detrimental to the results. And the same goes with France, and they implode.
The only difference is we're not nearly as talented as this French team.
No.
Never have been, never will be. But regardless of that, as we mentioned, the favorites are taking on maybe the least favorites to do anything this year, as Italy has been making some strides. We will get to them in just a moment. But the
Yeah.
Welsh may be ending up at the bottom of this pile, George. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, yeah, man. We could spend an entire hour just talking about how poor Wales is doing. You know, they're just their club games failing, which is sad. And yeah, their rugby union is it's full of alleged bullshit and lots of it was just not a good scene for Wales and they're having to recover and they're recovering very slowly. So this is going to be a real eye opener for Wales and it's not very nice.
I think even Scottish Rugby, who is even a Welsh man, a Welsh fan, if you will, had plenty of good things to say about all the teams except for Wales. He was pretty much like, well, we got a cool stadium. So I guess they got that going for them. As far as this game goes, I'm going to have to go France here, George. I don't think it's much of a competition.
No, it's not even.
Really. It's just a matter of how much will they win is really the main question here, I feel like, especially at home.
30 points plus France to win.
30 points plus. I don't know about that. I think it might be slightly closer than that. All these teams always play each other a little closer than we think it's going to be. So I don't know if it'll be 30 plus, but I do think France will squeak out the victory. You're taking them as well?
How dare you start a podcast and not silence your phone, Stephen?
Well, it's not that high level of a podcast, so we do what we can.
Hey, we're making it one step at a time.
That's true. That's true. But yes, in this case, we are going to take France for this opener of the Six Nations. That's a clean sweep right there of both agreeing on the same team. We are going to rush through this a little bit, Sportsman Compion fans, as both of us have to get to a very important second indoor practice of the Rockford Ravens, so we can maybe not suck so much this coming year. We'll be all right. But either way, moving on, the Scottish are welcoming in to Murrayfield the Italians. Now, the Italians are an up-and-coming squad. They're scaring people. They're making noise. They had their best showing yet the previous year here in Six Nations, and now they travel to Scotland to take on a club that, correct me if I'm wrong, but Scotland has never won this tournament. Is that correct?
Not the Six Nations. No, they won the Five Nations before Italy was introduced last year. The Five tournament.
Okay. So yes, the Scottish, with, as you can see in my tag right there, Mr. Finn Russell will be leading the lads, but they do have some other superstars to back him up now. Finally, Mr. Vanderfleet himself will be in the lineup as well. They have not announced their lineups yet, so we can't go into that. But there's a lot of talent over there with the Scotland, and we'll see if they can bring that to full fruition against a frisky Italian team that has been really making some noise in the last couple of years.
I'm going to go out on a whim here and say the scoreline is going to be 25-30, high scoring game, and Italy's going to win it.
Wow. Big upset is what George is calling here. As a Scotland homer who doesn't really watch that much Scottish rugby, to be fair, but I am a Scottish homer, and they are at home, George, and they are taking on maybe the number 5 team in this tournament. I'm going Scotland for this one. We have our first split decision, if you will.
Yeah.
But yes, I think we both agree this will be a close game. This will be an entertaining game. Quite a good one to start off things, but maybe not as good as our next match, which we'll get into in just a moment. But yes, Finn Russell will lead the boys into combat. We'll see what happens there. Should be a good one. So moving on.
Yes. Ufta.
The Red Rose. The English champions. The people who have dominated rugby for a while, but have maybe fallen off just a tad, but sort of building themselves back up. Playing some fine rugby these past couple of years. Made some noise in the World Cup. Now they wander into another Six Nations, taking on the two-time champion. The two-time champion in Ireland themselves. Just absolutely stock full of studs, stock full of talent. The Irish team lose their main leader, number 10. What the fuck is his name, George? I'm slipping on it right now. The gentleman who retired.
Sexy.
What was it?
Johnny Sexton.
Right, Mr. Sexton retired, and they quickly brought up all their new young talent to replace him. The Irish team moves well, and they are going to be at home in Dublin to take on the English. Who will win? What will happen? Mr. Toya is an aging gentleman, but he is their captain for this tournament, it would appear. Marcus Smith has been playing some fine rugby. Good defender for a fly half. You never see fly halves making tackles, so pretty impressive there. And they will take on the tournament favorites, if you will, in Ireland. How are you feeling about this one, George? You a little nervous as an English fan?
England throughout the autumn internationals, the fall internationals, if you listen to other podcasters, they sing doom and gloom. Oh, English rugby's not this, not that. It's shit. Everything's fucking throw everything but the bathtub out, all the whatever. It's not. England's close, so close. It's just clicking. It's symmetry, and at the highest level of sport, the difference between a 5-point game and a 10 to 15-point game is 1 or 2%. Your outside centre is there. Your fellow forwards are there. It's so close to clicking, and England's always. Everybody can say England should not lose the Six Nations ever because they got the biggest lead, they got the most players, they've got this, they've got that, they've got everything working for them. So, but England's so close to clicking, and I believe Ireland is on a curve down because they haven't adapted their game. They've essentially said, you know what our game plan is, and it is your job to stop it. And they've basically been using the same game plan year on year now since the World Cup, since pre-World Cup. And I'm a little bit worried for Ireland because they're not adapting. And I don't know. It's going to be a very good game to watch, but as I said, England can beat anybody on their day. A bad England team can beat anybody on the day, and a really good team can lose to anybody on their day.
That's pretty much English rugby, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm going to say England because I'm English by less than 5 points. So 5 points and less.
5 points or less to England in Dublin. That would be a massive win for them to start off their Six Nation run. Can they get it done against, as we mentioned, some of the favorites for this whole thing? Wow, Josh van der Vliet. There's another van der Vliet over with Ireland. Who knew, man? There's so many van der Vliets out there. It's a cool name, I guess.
Yeah, the Irish reproduce, mate.
They produce a lot. And, of course, Key, who is their center. The dude just looks mean. He looks hard to tackle. He had himself a fine World Cup, and we'll see as he continues to carry that momentum into the Six Nation world. Ooh, this is a tough one to pick from. This is probably the hardest game of the tournament, I would say. Probably the highest rugby we'll see, at least for this game coming up for this first week. I'm going to go about England. Fuck it. I'm with you on this one, George. We'll ride with the Red Rose. Can they make some noise to start off this tournament? Show that they can win this whole thing. Everyone else is going Ireland, but we here at Sports by Compion will be riding with the English Rose as George has on his chest. It's happening. It's going down.
Actually, a fun point I read on Facebook today. It's the first time ever that two twins have either, I don't know if it's the first time ever two twins have started on the same international team, or if it's the first time ever two twins have started on the same England team at the same time. But yeah, it's quite an interesting point.
Which ones? Oh, the Currys?
Yeah, Currys.
Palm and Ben? They're both at the flankers?
Yeah, blind and open, man. And they're so good. One of them's a little bit better poacher and the other one's a better tackler.
Okay.
And I can't tell the difference between the two. So
well, that is pretty cool, actually. That they're both on the open side flankers on this situation. They will be the ones in charge of making sure Ireland can't do too much on offense, which will be a tall task for them to take on. But we'll see if the Curry brothers can get it done.
Yeah, I would love
Quite interesting.
We would love to dive deeper into the best fantasy picks, but it's going to be a hell of a weekend, man.
Well, if you're picking yourself, let's just go over that real quick because we did kind of run through that. Let's sort of talk about that a little bit. Who would you say is going to be your top guys if you're building yourself the dream team out of these Six Nation players? Are you taking Ellis George Ganji? A solid number one, has been there for years doing his thing.
I didn't actually take Genji. No. I took. So actually, I could go over. I've got it saved on my phone. I've got, I believe, 2 Irish front rows. What are they? The Furlong and who's the other one? Who's the starting Irish?
They don't have it listed yet.
And I did English hooker, both the English locks, Marrow and Martin. Had
Solid.
Earl in my team as number 8. Fire. He's been rocket shit. Marcus Smith, obviously, because you can't fucking go anywhere without selecting Marcus Smith. And the one I'm expecting to get loads of points from is Anton Dupont. Because the guy, if you have not picked Anton Dupont in your fantasy team, you are on crack. He was 20 points, but he's gonna be well worth that. Like,
yeah,
he's gonna crack open the Welsh defense.
He always does. He is absolutely the best player in the world for a reason. The guy just seems to take everything in stride, and nothing ever hits him too hard. getting back to that Welsh game real quick, the Swedish Rugby did mention a young, promising fly half they have coming up. This kid is very young, but he has been doing a lot of great things for the team. Look, they don't even have a picture for him yet, but Mr. Roman.
Worried. There's a big step up from club game to international game. Everything's just tighter. There's less space. I believe it's like half as much less space to run into. I would be worried, but dude, Wales needs to do something. They've got nothing to lose right now, and why not? Why not throw the kid into cutting the grass on the first day? You know, and I love him. Love it. I love Warren Gatlin because he's willing to take those risks. I wish England would have a head coach that would take risks. You know, we don't.
Yeah.
We just have this old complacent geezer that, you know, knows that he's not going to lose by a lot, but knows he's not going to win by a lot. And so he just doesn't risk it.
You got to risk it for the biscuit, as Mr. Bruce Arians would say.
Yeah. But
Absolutely.
Wales has nothing to lose. So why not? You know, why not?
Why not? You got to bring up the young talent. Anyway, Sportsman Copy fans, that's our picks. We're going France across the board. We were split on Scotland versus Italy, and we both decided on England. So you make your own picks. Hit us in the comments below with who you guys are picking for this. Let us know how excited you are about it. And we will be watching this weekend as the first battles of Six Nations take place. Exciting stuff, George. Very exciting stuff.
Best competition on every year.
Absolutely. Make sure you're liking and subscribing. We do appreciate your support. We appreciate George coming on. You guys have a fantastic evening.